What's going on, everybody? If you know me, you know me. If you don't, I'm your new fishing buddy, and I appreciate you fishing with Sid. So today, me and Lil Sid, young fisherman as he calls himself, we want to help y'all get started fishing. Because we know when you walk down that aisle, you see so many things, and you just don't really know where to start. Well, we want to help y'all out with that. So, I want to talk to you about fishing rods, fishing reels, hooks, bait for the type of fish that you might want to catch. So this rod and reel combo right here is what you call a bait caster. This is a bait caster, okay? This rod and this reel right here is going to give you a crazy amount of problems if you try to take this reel fishing on your first fishing trip. This ain't what you want. Snoot, I'm going to show them your fishing rod. This next rod right here may be what you want, possibly. This right here is an open face, a spinning reel. What happens on this one that's different from that bait caster, the bait caster, the spool that the line goes on, it spins. When you cast out, that spins, and you have to stop it yourself. And that's the reason why people have like so many issues using the reel, because the spool itself is spinning, and if you don't stop it correctly, you're going to get what's called a bird's nest. You're going to get a backlash, and that's where the line just tangles up and just knocks everywhere. And if, you know what I'm saying, it's your first time fishing or first few times fishing, or you fishing at night, you do not want to take that rod out. It's going to make you not like fishing. This rod right here, you can have issues with this too. This one, I done caught the tail. You don't spin on this one, and you don't have to stop it. So once you cast, the line stops itself, and then you just close the bell. Make sure that you don't have slack in your line right here, because if you got slack in your line right here, that's how you get that problem. That's the second rod I want to show you. Now the third rod, the rod that I would suggest you get, contrary to popular belief, is the trusty Zebco 33. Now this is the rod I started off fishing with right here. This is the rod that I learned how to bass fish with. This is the rod I caught my first bluegills on back in the day. I mean, other than like a Daffy Duck or a Mickey Mouse rod, you know how we was doing back in the day. But even those rods had the push button on it. And this is like a combination between a bait caster and an open face rod. So if you look at the inside of this fishing rod right here, it's something like the best of both worlds for real. You know what I'm saying? Because it's got the spool on it like an open face, but it's got the button on it like a bait caster. And you don't have to worry about stopping it. You don't have to worry about none of this. So the inner workings of this rod, when you push the button, these two little line grabbers right here, they go in. This bell type thing, it lifts up so your line can flow freely out of the rod. You don't have to worry about nothing that's going on inside of this rod when you're fishing. You can just go fishing. That's what you out there to do. You don't want things getting in your way when you first start fishing. The least amount of things that get in the way, the better. So a couple things about the fishing rod. So right here, you got what's called drag. Now this line that's on here, it might be 4 to 6 pound test line. So what that means is, if you got your drag tightened all the way up, what that does is, it doesn't allow the string to come out. It's tight. You can just horse a fish in, right? But the problem with that is, you're pulling on this line and stretching and stretching and stretching, it's gonna break. This line has a really low breaking point. So if you back off of this drag, if you back off of the drag, then you can set this drag to a point where if the fish is big, it's gonna pull the drag without stretching your line to its breaking point. Alright? So it's got your line that's running, you trying to reel. So what you want to do is you want to fight with that fish a little bit. You want to let it wear itself out. You know what I mean? You want to let it wear itself out. And then as it gets tired, you can pull that thing up a little bit, you know what I'm saying, tighten it up, pull it back towards you, reel it in. He get to fighting, he pulling, he's not breaking your line. Now it might take you a long time to get a big fish in, but you can do it. Alright, next thing on this rod, you got what's called the bait alert. So with the bait alert off, you had the situation like I just showed you or whatever. But let's say you want to fish and you want to fish with multiple rods, or you want to sit your rod down, or you want to do whatever you do while you fishing, or whatever that looks like for you. You got this rod set down, you got it set up on a little rod holder or something like that. Boom, you got that in the ground. You got this set up on a little rod holder or whatever. And you get a fish on there. So what's going to happen is, when that fish get to pulling, you hear that? Hopefully y'all can see that. When that fish get to pulling, it's going to make noise. It's going to be loud. You know what I mean? It's going to be loud. While you working, it's going to let you know. So what I would do is switch that bait alert back off. Make sure that you know, there's tension on the line. Reel down on it just a little bit to get it tight, and boom, pull that rod back, set that hook, and work it with the drag like I showed you to begin with. In the cast, I'm a quick demonstration. Cast, you see where you want to cast at, right? You see where you want to cast. You don't want to cast down at the water. You know, like if you're throwing a football, you throwing a ball or something like that, you know about where you're going to release that ball, right? Boom. Thumbs up. So when you cast this fishing rod, you holding the button down. As long as you got the button down on this reel, the line's not coming out. As soon as you let the button go, the line comes out. So what you want to do is, this is how you practice this. You got your thumb down, you cast. Thumbs up. You got your thumb down, you cast. You got your thumb down, you cast. And that right there, so people might talk about this fishing rod, this reel combo right here, but I promise you, you can get it done with this fishing rod and reel combo right here. Thumb down, cast. Thumb down, cast. Now, hooks that you want to use fishing with this fishing rod. Hooks. So, I would recommend a size 4 to a size 6 hook. The bigger the number, the smaller the hook. The smaller the number, the bigger the hook. So these are about a size 4 hook. This is a straight shank J hook, and this right here, it's called an offset hook. And a lot of people swear by these because the way that this hook is sitting off center, if you can see that, it's sitting off center from the shank of this hook. People claim to get a better hookup ratio. For me, when it comes to fishing for panfish, I never really cared, honestly. To me, a hook was a hook as long as it was the right size to fit in the fish's mouth. But that's just me. You can buy a variety pack of panfish hooks. I know these are catfish hooks, but you can buy a variety pack of hooks for panfish, and you can get different sizes, and you can try them out. If you're getting bites, but you can't seem to hook the fish, it keeps slipping out of the fish's mouth, maybe you want to try something smaller. Maybe you want to go to a size 6 hook instead of a size 4. If you're getting bites and you're catching the fish and the fish are swallowing your hooks, maybe you want to step it up to a size 4. See? So if the hook is too small and they're swallowing it, step it up. If you're getting bites but you're not catching them, knock it down to a smaller hook. So everywhere that you go, they're going to sell hooks that come with a leader already on them. And the reason I like hooks with leaders on them is because
Okay, let's say you don't know exactly what size hook you want to use. So, 1 second. Tie a snell knot. They usually come with a snell knot on them. And I'll show this knot in a later video. But for now, let's just focus on going to fish. So it'll come on a leader that'll look pretty much like this here. And what you can do, that's a great idea, if you don't know what size hooks you should be using, is get you a pack of swivels. Get you the swivels with the clamps on them already, like this one. You're gonna tie this to your main line, and I'm gonna give y'all a really good knot to use here in just a second. And take that leader and clamp it. And sometimes this weight right here, or this swivel, is about all you need. But if you need more, you can just take a split shot and you can hook it to your main line that will be attached here. You could just hook it to your main line, whatever size you might need. If the water is deep or you need to get out to the deeper water, you might want to use a bigger weight. Split shot is what these are called. You might want to use 2. You might want to use 3. You know, but what's good about these split shots, you can open them up with a pair of pliers, or I just use my teeth most of the time. You can put these on and you can feel around for what you need. If you keep getting hung, maybe you're fishing in the current or something like that, or the current is getting you hung up on the rocks, or you're getting hung up on the rocks, or whatever is under there, maybe you want to go down to a smaller size. Try that out. Put that on there. You can always put them on, you can always take them off. Alright, so you can get a variety pack of these split shots as well. Another thing that you might want to do is you might want to fish a bobber, a float, or as my son calls them, a pokeball. Some people call them corks. You might want to fish one of those. So the way that you would do that is this line here would be attached to your main line, or your leader line, your hook. Or if you don't have a leader and you just have your hook tie right to your main line, you might want to use a pokeball. So what you would do is you'll figure out about how far down you want this hook to sit off at the bottom, or if you want it to suspend maybe somewhere in the water column without going all the way to the bottom, or maybe the fish are on the top. You know, you just feel around for that. You'll take this pokeball. If the fish that you're fishing for are a little bigger, then you use a bigger pokeball. But you will know once you catch one, or once you miss a bunch of them, about what size pokeball and about what size hook that you need to be using. And one way to tell how deep the water is put some weight on your line. Put some weight on before you put this pokeball on. Cast it out and count how long it takes for your line to stop dropping. And generally, like a foot a second. If you got you know, a decent amount of weight on. If you don't have any weight on, then it's probably not going to be a foot a second. But if you got a decent amount of weight on, somewhere around a foot a second is about what that weight is going to drop. So you'll know, or you can figure out about where you want your float to sit in the water. And a lot of fish feed up because a lot of fish have eyes on the top of their head, so they feed up. So a lot of times you want to suspend your bait above, a little bit above where you think the fish are. All right, that's for the pokeball. And these pokeballs here, they are the same. Some of these have weights right here in this part, but it's the same thing. Put it in there like so, and it's locked in. Okay. Now, you might be wondering like, okay, how am I going to do all of this and I don't know how to tie a knot? Okay, well, I got you right here. So we're going to imagine that this here is your main line, and we're going to imagine that this here is your hook. So a good simple knot to tie, it's actually tested that this knot is the strongest knot that you can tie, is a Palomar knot. So this is how you want to tie a Palomar knot. You want to take your line, you want to fold it in half like so. So you take your line and you fold it in half. You got it folded in half. And you take that loop and you put it through your hook. Okay. So this is what you have. Now sometimes it's hard to double your line and get it through the hook. So what you want to do is you want to take your line one time, put it through the eye of the hook. Then you want to turn it back around and do the same thing. So it puts you in the same place. So if you can't get it one way, do it the other way. And this is what you have, right? So you want to take that. Works better for me because I'm right-handed, I guess. But to put the loop in my right hand, you take it and tie that same knot that you tie like you getting ready to tie your shoes. And that's what you have. Okay? Do that same knot. What's it called? A half hitch maybe? Okay. Now once you got that, you open that up and run it over that hook. So you got your two ends here, right? You do your half hitch, right? And then you take this side and you just put it over your hook. Okay? And all you want to do now, you want to lick this right here. Wet it, spit on it, dip it in the water, whatever you got to do. Because you don't want your line to like get hot and kind of burn and thin and mess itself up. And then you just pull it. You just cinch it down. And now you have a Palomar knot. And you can take and cut this down to about 1/8 of an inch on your tag end. Cut that down. Now you can rewind that and go over that, but it's a pretty simple knot. It's easy to tie. You can do it pretty quick, and like I said, that's the strongest knot that you're gonna be able to tie. Now on these hooks, you're probably gonna need some bait. So what you can do is you can go to Walmart. I like to get the red worms from Walmart that they don't have in the refrigerator. I like to get the ones that are not in the refrigerator. Since I don't have any red worms right now and we're in the house, I'm going to give an example using one of these. So some people will buy red worms or night crawlers, and they will take the worm, the top of the worm, and they will stick the hook into the worm just enough to hold on, and they'll put it on there and they'll do it like that. Okay, some people won't put it in the top and they'll do something like that. Okay, me, what I like to do, I feel like I hook up with more fish, and instead of them just sucking my worm off, but I'll take my worm and somewhere close to the top, I'll hook it here, then I'll hook it again, and I'll hook it again, like that. Okay, so if it does suck off some of the worm, if it's a small one like we call eyeball, it won't suck the whole thing off or whatever. And it's a big presentation in the water. There's still room at the top and the bottom for the worm to move. And I have a lot of luck fishing my worm like this. Now, you might want to fish it the other way. You might want to fish it like this. But I think it's more for you to find out how you want to fish your worm, how you want to hook your worm. So what I would suggest is just get out there and try it out.
Alright, being said, I hope you learned something. I hope you took something from this video. Like Jay says, thank you for coming out. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here fishing with Sid. I love you for it, and I appreciate it. So until next time, oh yeah, like, subscribe, comment down below if you catch anything, if you got any questions, what else I need to make videos on. Till next time.